Mic'd up.
Highlights from Lowlifes. Highlights from Lowlifes.
Hey, we're back.
Hey,
With
that song
episode-
keeps me up at night. It just goes.
Yeah. So I think this is episode 117. Wow, that's a lot. That's a lot.
We were on
are
borrowed
gonna
time on
talk-
episode 3.
Yeah.
Good point.
We are going to talk about famous duos and trios in Major League Baseball history. So this would be if you name one, you name the other, or the other two, that they just go together. We thought of this. This was suggested by one of our viewers one time, and we're going to give it a shot, see how it works. We will probably have some crossovers, which is okay because we can tell the stories in any way we want to. So,
Yeah, and we're not that bright, so
those of
And we
you,
liberally steal from
that
other
are
people.
watching us. Yeah. So give us some more. Hit the microphone down at the bottom of the screen, and a clock will start, giving you 30 seconds to tell us your comments regarding the topic tonight, and we'll play it on the air. You get to hear your own voice. Big plus. And then you got like 30 seconds or so where you don't have to hear our voices. So that's the second plus. So yeah. So
win-win.
Thanks for joining us here on Mic'd Up, Highlights from Lowlifes. We are going to continue on our Wednesday nights at 6 p.m. Pacific. So keep tuning in. And let's get things started. Marty.
Yes, sir.
Let's have you start off with a famous Major League duo or trio.
Okay. So when you think about Major League or baseball duos, the first thing that came to mind was the Battery. And it really can be a special. And I'm going to go off on a tangent right up front. So let's not.
We're so
just a little background for you new viewers, right? We got together. We all knew each other from playing adult league baseball, and I was the catcher. And it was one season where the pitcher, Sugar Ray Mialovich, and boy, did we have a bond. I mean, we kind of strategized how we're going to pitch the batters, and that we're gonna start off with a fastball and a curve, and we just had a great time back because we were all kind of thinking with each other what the next pitch was going to be. And boy, did we have a lot of fun. So that was really special. So in thinking along those terms, I was thinking about that batter-pitcher combinations and who has been around for a long time. And there was a few that have been around for a long time and even more starts than the two I picked. But just looking at the two that I picked, I thought it was just unique and phenomenal. And that was with the Detroit Tigers of Mickey Lolich and Bill Freehan. These guys back in the 60s teamed up 324 times. Think about it, 324 times. Now, again, there were other ones that had more, especially in recent St. Louis. I think Wainwright and Yadimar Molina. I butchered his name. I apologize.
Yadier.
Thank you.
Yeah.
But one of the great games was with Freehan and Lolich was Game 7 of the 1968 World Series against the Cardinals. And they won 4-1. Lolich pitched a complete game, which they don't do anymore. And who did they beat? The great Bob Gibson. So I thought even then that was phenomenal. But here's some statistics about these guys I thought was neat. They started in 1963. through 1975. That's 13 years. Um, Lolich uh, was finished second and third in the Cy Young Award voting in 71 and 72, respectively. Okay. Freehand, the catcher, made 10 straight All Star appearances during his 15 years in Detroit. And despite all their accolades, neither one of them are in the Hall of Fame, which really kind of surprised me. But, the Hall of Fame is the Hall of Fame, and who gets in is a completely different subject. But I thought that was terrific, and I remember those guys um, as a kid, and just awesome and impressive. And they didn't make it in the hall, but at least they made it onto my list here from highlights from Lowlifes.
Well
Good
done.
one. Good one.
Thank you, Ravi. Take it away.
All right. I got an interesting one. It's really an odd pairing when you first look at it. But they came up through the minor leagues together and made the big club in San Francisco in 1959. And that, of course, Willie McCovey and Jim Davenport.
Oh,
They were really lifelong friends. They were very close. And the thing that really brought them together, I mean, look, Jim Davenport was a white kid from Alabama, from a rural area, and had a low, slow drawl and a way of speaking, and people kind of just thought he was dumb because he had that lower, slower way of talking. And Willie McCovey was from a inner city, but deep south in Alabama as well. So it was the one thing they had in common, the Alabama experience. So those two guys, at a time when the big club, they had a lot of guys. Most of the guys had just come from New York as they moved out to San Francisco. They were fast talkers, hustling guys, and all of that stuff. And they felt very isolated on that ball club, and they kind of found each other, and it became this lifelong friendship where they were pretty inseparable for most of their lives. They really enjoyed each other's company, and they found comfort in each other at a time when it was really rough for both of them. They both ended up thriving because of that. So, if you ever had the chance to go to a Giants fantasy camp and talk to either one of them, they both will go on for hours about the friendship that they had and the bond they had. So, yeah, there's my first one.
Cool.
What you got, Webby?
All right. I'm going to read a poem because
oh,
I'm
say
trying to
it. Good
bring
night.
I'm trying to bring up the class of this show. Okay,
I
this
see
poem
England.
was-
I see France.
No. It's going to be much higher up. This poem was written by Gerald V. Hearn of the Boston Post. It goes, first we'll use spawn, then we'll use sane. Then an off day, followed by rain. Back will come spawn, followed by sane, and followed, we hope, by 2 days of rain. We are talking about Warren Spahn and Johnny Sane from the 1948 Braves team, Boston Braves. Basically, the fans and to a certain extent the team came to realize that if they were going to win a game, they needed one of these two guys on the mound. Now, that particular year that the poem was written, Sane was 24 and 15. Imagine 39 decisions. Spawn was only 15 and 12, and the team ended up winning 91 games. But of the 91 wins, these two pitchers started over half of them. So if the third or fourth or fifth starter was coming out there, uh, the team did not do well. Interestingly, there were other duos at the same time that had more wins on other teams, but Mr. Hearn did not write a poem about that. So
there you go.
We have Spawn and Sane and Pray for Rain, an iconic poem, and it's how these two are going to be remembered. I mean, Spawn, of course, is a Hall of Famer, but Sane was such a great pitcher for a short period of time on the Braves.
I can't believe they didn't have any faith in Vern Bickford.
Yes, Vern did not do quite as well. So yeah.
Yeah.
So that is my my number 5 pick. JC, what do you got?
Okay, well, I thought I'd go right with Maddox and Glavine. Greg Maddox, and Tom Glavine were together on the Braves from '93 to 2001, and it was said by Terrence Moore, who was a writer for MLB, they were fiercely competitive. They battled each other in everything: golf, ping pong, March Madness pools, Jeopardy, alligator wrestling, karaoke, skydiving, and hot dog eating on the 4th of July. And it was amazing what those two did for the Braves during their time together. The duo won 347 games for the two of them. Glavine actually had more wins, but Maddox had a better percentage and more Cy Youngs. When Maddox would win the Cy Young, Glavine would usually finish second in the Cy Young voting. It was amazing what they did. Maddox, I believe, captured 4 Cy Youngs during the period. So that's my duo.
Did
For the Braves?
you even mention their commercial?
Chicks dig the long ball.
Chicks dig the
Dig the
long
long
ball.
ball.
Chicks dig the long ball. That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah. They wanted to be more like the power hitters and get the chicks. So they would constantly complain that it didn't matter what they did on the mound. Everybody was after Mark McGuire because chicks dig the long ball. Great commercial.
Yep.
Yep.
All right. So finish that round. Let's go to Robbie on this next one.
All right. Well, if you detect the theme, I kind of went for friendships in baseball as my duos or trios. So this one, these two guys met in 1950. They were teammates in the minor leagues, and they bonded that it lasted all the way until 1989 at the death of Billy Martin, and that was Billy Martin and Art Fowler. There's a lot of talk about how close Billy was with Mantle and with Whitey Ford and all those guys, but Art Fowler was the guy that never left his side. When Billy Martin got his first job managing with the Twins, he took Art Fowler with him and had as his pitching coach. And even though Fowler was still pitching in the Pacific Coast League, trying to hang on, Billy Martin brought him on as his pitching coach, and wherever Martin went to coach, Art Fowler went as his pitching coach. So that's Detroit, Texas, Oakland, 19 times with the Yankees. And it's interesting because Billy Martin obviously wore out his welcome everywhere he went. Art Fowler had a tendency to wear out his pitching staff wherever he went. And you brought up Mickey Lolich. Art Fowler, as the pitching coach for the Tigers in 1971, had Mickey Lolich throw 376 innings, which might have shortened his career by a year or two. He did it with Fergie Jenkins in 1974 when Fergie was like in his 40s. He had him throw 325 innings. And that that 1980 A's team, where the A's were actually really competitive, and Dwayne Murphy and Ricky Henderson were all popping up, and the team was getting exciting. Those guys the whole rotation threw over 300 innings, 93 complete games as a team, and most of those guys were out of baseball in 2 years. Rick Langford and all of them. So, Anyway, they were friends forever. They were baseball friends, and they stayed that way up until Martin's passing, and they got to the World Series a few times and won a couple. So good for them.
Yeah.
Marty.
We'll see if this is a pairing that is a positive or negative. But when the announcement came out of this was our theme for the week. This is what the show is all about. These two guys came to mind because I would go to the ball games in Oakland, and they were there back in the '80s. And that's the Bash brothers, Canseco and McGuire, and in when they were a phenom in Oakland, and they were the reasons that when they first came up, back to back, a rookie of the year. Canseco was first, and then McGuire was second. And there was one interesting stat that I thought was funny is what about Canseco. He he came up as when he first was drafted. He was kind of a wimpy guy, and then in but 84 he just started weightlifting, legitimate weightlifting. We all know what happened since then, but in 85 he went from double A to the major leagues, batted 300 at each level. In 29 games with Oakland, he hit 302 with 5 home runs. Okay, it's a new kid on the block. He's doing real well. Put that all together, combined for that year at 3 different levels, he hit 41 home runs and 140 RBIs. So the guy was a ball player. He really was. His antics got him a little. His mouth got him. But anyway, they did sell tickets, and they were on that '89 World Championship team too. McGuire was a little more straight laced. He came out of USC. Like I said, he was the rookie of the year. They put Oakland back on the map. There was a Bash Brothers poster. There was they had a song on the TV about him, the whole bit. And back and they did well. And then '92, Canseco was traded to Texas. They were reunited for one season back in. Excuse me, I had it here. '96, I believe, and it sold tickets. But McGuire at the end of that season was his contract was up, so they traded him to St. Louis. They both got caught up in the cheating scandal. It took them years, but they both wound up admitting it years later. That they both were positive, but they were an influencer in Oakland for a long time. It sold a lot of tickets, and I said that the Bash Brothers made their mark in Oakland for a long time. So they're number 4 on my list.
Yeah,
Go
yeah.
ahead.
Both phenoms in 1986. Canseco was Rookie of the Year, and then McGuire was Rookie of the Year in '87. So they were both phenoms. There's no question about it. And despite all the steroid stuff and everything else going on, they were good for baseball in the long run.
Agreed. Go ahead, JC.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, picked it up. Go for it.
All right. Well, Robbie's doing, kumbaya, guys who loved each other. And I decided to take the opposite tack. Barry Bonds and Jeff Kent. Kent described it as a love-hate relationship.
No.
They were not friends, but respected each other on the field. Together as a duo in 3.5 years, they hit 454 home runs, 1,348 RBIs. They might not have liked each other, but they were a great baseball duo. So Bonds and Kent. All right.
Yeah.
Rob, what do you got?
All right. This goes back to the theme that Marty introduced.
I did it again.
Famous pitcher and catcher duo. These guys were famously thought of as a pitcher and catcher who, in their death, would be buried 60 feet 6 inches apart. I'm talking about Steve Carlton and Tim McCarver. They were teammates on the Cardinals, but the biggest amount of time they spent together was on the Phillies, and this was on some really, really bad Phillies teams. Carlton one year won 27 games and lost 10 for a Phillies team that only won 54 games. So he won half of their games. And when he was out there the entire game, and his catcher was McCarver. Carlton was a bit of a surly guy, but he got along with McCarver and respected McCarver enough to allow him to come out to the mound and maybe give him some advice or some information about the game that he may not know. But yeah, McCarver was his personal catcher, and McCarver probably a very average major league catcher at best, played that notoriety into a very long broadcasting career that many of us wish never happened. But he would frequently tell this story, whereas Carlton, the Hall of Famer, wouldn't even give interviews. So interesting duo, but one that you always see together. All right.
Yeah, Tim McCarver. I suffered through a lot of Tim McCarver. That is a strike. That is a strike. It's called a strike because it's in the strike zone.
Yes. And a double is when the batter gets to second base on a batted ball. Yeah,
one of those famous ones. If they can turn the double play here, that'll be the second and third outs, and they'll be out of the inning.
Hey, wait a minute! I got a pen. You want to say that again? Say that again.
You want to write that down?
All right. I think we killed off 2 rounds. What are we doing now?
Well, it's my favorite part of the show. It's a segment we like to call "What You Drinking." 117 episodes. Okay, don't judge the people at Almanac by the fact that they've sponsored us for 117 episodes.
Go ahead.
They're better than that. They are better than that. Almanac Beer Company in Alameda, California. They are truly one of America's great craft brewers. Fortunately, we get to drink some of their beer while we're doing this show. And I got to tell you, we every time we'll tell you that the flavors are rich and dense, but the drinkability of these beers is unparalleled. Whether you're drinking a light, crisp Pilsner or their big, heavy barrel-aged stouts, anything in between, everything's always going to pack flavor in there and be something that you'll enjoy drinking. So we take turns. And again, I mean, I'm almost out. I think I'm down to my last couple of cans, the Rocktoberfest. It's part of their lager series. This beer is delicious. Again, another rich, full-flavored beer, and it's easy to drink. So I'm still on that. What you guys drinking?
Well, I got the Adventureland by Almanac, and I wanted to show this to you because the map of Adventureland of the brewery, which is you should visit, is on the can. It's very nice.
And look at the technological advancements that we have 2 cameras.
People thought we weren't technical.
Yeah. It's called Adventureland Pilsner, and it is just beautiful. Cheers.
Excellent.
Yeah, I haven't had that one yet.
Yeah.
Safeway.
Okay. Oh. Well, looky what we got here. My friend Robbie hits it out of the ballpark every time he talks about this, the Rocktoberfest. I've saved a few of these simply for this time of year when it gets a little colder up here in Reno. And like I said, there's a little more flavor, a little more malt to it. But Robbie nailed it out of the ballpark. It still goes down easy, and it's still a great beer. Rocktoberfest, Almanac, they're top notch. Thank you. And why you keep sponsoring us, I don't know, but thank you anyway.
it's my theory that they don't actually know that they're sponsoring us. That's what I think. I'm drinking my last can of the Hugs Hefeweizen tonight. Very nice, I got it nice and cold. Goes down easy, refreshing, not too heavy. I'm a big Hef fan, and this is a great Hef. So Hugs Hefeweizen. I need more of this.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks
By
again.
By the way, but before you close this out, Robbie, I have become a what do they call it? A blue badge fan on Facebook, as dictated by Almanac Beer. So I guess I've visited their page enough on Facebook that I'm now considered a top fan.
Wow. And the crowd goes wild.
Get a life. Get a life.
All right. Enough of us yapping. Thanks to Almanac. It's a fantastic brewery. If you're in California or visiting California soon, head out to Alameda Island. It's a great place to visit. And Almanac Brewing, just the perfect place. Dog friendly, kid friendly, people friendly, beer geek friendly. You talk to them nicely, you might get a quick tour of the brewery. It's a great place all around. And if you tell them you heard about them from the Highlights from Lowlife show, they may take pity upon you.
All right, let's get into round 3. JC, start us off.
All right. Well, I guess I had enough of the hate situation. I'll go to two guys who really enjoyed each other, and it was another strange duo. Will Clark, Louisiana boy, and Kevin Mitchell, who was from San Diego area, who got together, and they were called the Pacific Sock Exchange.
Yep.
And in 1989, Mitch hit 47 home runs, 125 RBIs. Will had 23, but 111 RBIs. They went back to back. One would hit 3, one would hit 4. It was really amazing, and Will was kind of a enthusiastic guy. He would break out with a couple of expletives and so forth. Kevin was they called him the Boogie Bear, but he had some disagreements with the coaches, and one time he said he disagreed with a particular coach, and the coach got in his face and he had to put him to sleep. So different guys, but they got along great. They're lifelong friends. Kevin Mitchell, Will Clark, the Pacific Sock Exchange. That's my number 3.
Cool.
Good pick.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right, Marty.
Okay. My duo for number 3, I really didn't know anything about these guys until we went to the hall, and there were a couple of plaques there, and there was kind of unique nicknames, and it's an intriguing study. And the more you learn about these guys, the more respect you have for them, and really, at the time they played, really the accomplishments they made. I'm gonna need help with the you guys. Really, I'm being honest here. I'm gonna need help with the Brooklyn accent. But their name, Paul and Lloyd. They were known as Big and Little Poison. It's the Waggers. Poison. They got their names from the Brooklyn Dodgers fans trying to pronounce Big Poison and Little Poison, which was picked up by a sports writer in the stands. In 1927, the season the brothers accumulated, 460 hits between them. The fan is said to remark, them Wainers. It was Paul and Lloyd Wainer. Wainer was the last name. It's always that little poison on Toyd and that big poison on Foist. So there we are. They're Paul and Lloyd Poison. And we're the center field and right field for the Pittsburgh Pirates from 1927 to 1945.
Wow.
They hold the career record for hits by brothers, 5,611, that outpaced the three Alou brothers and the three DiMaggio brothers. Now, there's all, and then when you read more about them, and again, I just pulled this up on Wikipedia, and there's all sorts of stories about these guys that go. Maybe because they played most of their career with Pittsburgh, and but they're gonna and they'll be tied in with my number 2 picks later. But there's one story about Big Poison that I read about and I had to share. I thought it was terrific, and it fits right in with the Lowlifes. The great Pie Traynor was the manager of the Pittsburgh Pirates in 1927 when Big Poison, Paul, gave up hard liquor and switched to beer. He was known for his ability to hit when he was hungover. He was great. Pie went out to Pie Traynor, the manager, and Traynor went out to a bar before a Giants game on May 19th, and Paul ordered a beer, to which the manager says, like hell he will, give him a shot of whiskey. I mean, not only we might he'd fill in to the highlights from Lowlifes Hall of Fame. Yeah. I mean, this guy was he did it. And I said, and I urge you, I really do. Any sport, anybody who's out there, read more about these guys. They're both in the Hall of Fame, but they were, and unless you really studied these guys or really tried to look at it, maybe because it was Pittsburgh, maybe it was because of the era that was in, they were overshadowed by other teams. Two brothers, two great guys, and even they. Can I throw in a side story here?
Do we have a choice?
Sure.
Okay.
But I'm going to do it anyway.
Yeah. All right. We only have about another half hour. So
cue up the Jeopardy music.
Life things that it was a different era back then. Things are different now. The whole bit. They had an older brother. The older brother was out having a nice evening with his girlfriend.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, only to just the ex-wife shows up with a gun and blows away the older brother, and then tries to shoot herself, but shoots herself in the foot. Okay, all right. So I don't know why we have the crazy stories of all this craziness going off, shootings everywhere today, and it's terrible. But it's not immune. I guess it happened back in the 20s too.
Oh, anyway, it happened after that too.
Yeah,
Rob.
But anyway, the Poison Brothers. Yeah, yes. Big Poison, Little Poison. They're in the Hall of Fame. Look them up. They're fantastic in their time, and they're my number 3 pick. So, and they get tied in with number 2. Watch.
All right. Who's up?
I don't care. No.
Yeah, we know.
Webby, go for it.
All right. So, Robbie, get your boo queued up here. You ready?
Ready.
I'm going to talk about the Los Angeles Dodgers quartet infielders. Okay. Basically the middle of June in 1973 until the last out of Game 6 in the 1981 World Series, the starting infield for the Los Angeles Dodgers, the players that were considered the regulars, were the same four guys: Steve Garvey at first base, Davey Lopes at second, Bill Russell at
Russell.
short, and Ron Say at third. Um, they pretty much didn't waver from that. There weren't too many injuries during that stretch. These guys were out there for 145 to 150 games a season at their positions. Um, on opening day in 1973, the only one that was starting was Bill Russell. By June, Say and Lopes had taken over positions on the field permanently. The last one was Steve Garvey. The first time they appeared as a quartet was June 13th, 1973, when Garvey came in as a defensive replacement. 10 days later, he was installed as the everyday first baseman, joining the other three. And they played together all that time. And as much as we hate the Dodgers, to have that kind of to have that kind of consistency and know that the same guys are going to be out there behind you every day must have been great for the Dodger pitchers. And I think from our standpoint as Giants fans or any other fan of any other National League team, there was more to hate. You know, okay, I know exactly who to hate. It's these guys. It's not any utility infielder on the team. It's these guys because you see them every single day, and they were on every game of the week. So that's the quartet I throw out there for to break the rules of our duos and trios. That's my number 3 pick. Okay, which one of you guys still need to go in this round?
Yeah.
Robbie.
All right, I'm going to go with a pair that I have talked about on this show before, and I think on the episode we talked about players we'd pay to watch. This duo was on my top 5 list for that, and they still would be. Um, Ronald Acuna Jr. and Ozzy Albies of the Atlanta Braves are just lifelong bonded friends. They were signed at the same time. They progressed through the Braves farm system at the exact same pace. They made the majors together at the same time. They've stuck together as friends through injury and everything else. They're really the perfect combination of they're serious and dedicated players. I mean, they play hard. They play good, smart, aggressive baseball. Yet they also balance that somehow against knowing how much fun they're having playing a boys' game. You know, they bought houses essentially next door to each other. They ride to the ballpark together, and, in this modern era, players always get their own rooms. We go to fantasy camp and hear all these great stories about guys that, roommates and their escapades as roommates and all of that. Albies and Acuna still room together on the road for 2 ginormous superstars. That's pretty impressive. And they like to play video games in the room on the road and knock the controller out of each other's hands like any 2 12-year-olds would playing Madden football. There's just something about that I really love. They love playing the game. They play it right. They love being out there. They appreciate where they are, and what they're doing, and they're constantly pranking each other. It's really cool to see 2 guys playing the game that I know the 4 of us here, it's how we imagined we would have done it had we have made it. They're doing what we would have done. So I love seeing that. So those 2 guys will make any of my duos list every single time.
Yeah, I like that one. That's
Yeah,
very
thanks.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, 3 rounds in. Let's move on to our 4th round or our number 2 picks. Robbie, who starts?
Let's have JC start us this time.
All right. Well, I get back to kind of the half anti thing here. 2 guys who really didn't necessarily get along that well, but there's no arguing with their success. And that's Willie Mays and Willie McCovey.
Mhm.
Uh, Mays comes in as the incumbent, and McCovey comes up in 59 and is the rookie of the year. Another San Francisco duo with Rookie of the Years. Cepeda was Rookie of the Year in '58. So, but McCovey comes up and he only gets to the big club in July, and he still wins Rookie of the Year. Together as teammates for 10 and a half years, McCovey and Mays hit 801 home runs. That's third all time duos in home runs, uh, and and they kind of grew on each other a little bit as it went on. Uh, but uh, but when Mays left to go to New York, McCovey got traded around a little bit uh, and eventually came back to the Giants, of course. Uh, but that was a power for 10 and a half years with the Giants that really amazed people.
Yep.
So 801 home runs and I don't know, a ton of RBIs is an amazing duo. Mays and McCovey. Marty, what do you got?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with a power duo also. Um, Webby, get queued up for this because I'm going to talk about the Yankees. And I guess there it is. And I guess I went this way because of my love of old movies. And and again, I'm going to expand a little bit since Webby went with 4. I'm going to go with 6. And I'm talking about the 1927 Murderers Row, but specifically the two icons of baseball, and still after all these years, it's Ruth and Gehrig. In 1927, and they're in the World Series against. Like I said, I'll bring them back. Big and Little Poison against the Pittsburgh Pirates. Let me just I pulled up statistics of that season with these two guys. We'll start with Babe Ruth. For that one season, a 356 batting average, 60 home runs, which stood as a record until Maris, and that's 61, and we all know about that. 164 RBIs. Gehrig had beat him as a 373 average, only 47 home runs, but a record at the time of 175 RBI. So let's just add this up. Two guys, one season, 107 home runs, 339 RBIs. Now that was a great accomplishment, but you have to realize there's 6 guys that are in the Hall of Fame on that team. Tony Lazzeri, Earl Combs, a couple of pictures. And if you want to throw in the manager, Miller Huggins, and an executive, the president was Ed Burrow. It again quite an accomplishment for a single team. Now, like I said, the funny thing is that the record that year was 110 wins, 44 losses. But there's been other teams since then who have won more games in a season. Cleveland Indians, the Dodgers, the Mariners did it in 2001. But they're playing a few more games than that Yankee team. And again, so going back to my love of the old movies, prior to the Yankees, and how many movies they made about Babe Ruth. Just 3 off the top of my head. But so if we're going to talk about duos, they got to be in the mix somewhere. So it's Ruth and Gehrig, number 2.
Yeah,
So,
they're also number 2 in home runs hit as teammates together with 859 home runs in 11 years together.
Right. Wow. Yeah.
Only, only the Braves have a better one. Matthews and Aaron's.
Yeah.
Wow. Robbie.
All right, I'm going to go with the friendship that we spent some time on our trip this past year in Pittsburgh and had the opportunity to spend half a day at the Clemente Museum, which I think we've all talked about on here. It's just fantastic. But it reminded me of one of the great friendships in baseball. It was kind of short lived and only lasted 6 years. But Clemente and Manny Sanguillen, they actually met in the Pittsburgh airport. I guess the 40-man roster was being called to Pittsburgh for a meeting and a workout. And Sanguillen had just made the 40-man roster in the middle 60s. So everybody was flying into Pittsburgh, and Sanguillen introduced himself to Clemente in the airport. Um, I guess Clemente ended up giving him a ride to the hotel. They got to the hotel and found out that they were rooming together. And Sanguillen was like, very shy about like, oh no, this is Roberto Clemente. He should have his own room. And Clemente wouldn't hear of it. He had at that point he had already decided that he was going to mentor this kid and take care of Manny Sanguillen. There's stories about the team was going out to the racetrack and Clemente would talk Sanguillen out of it. Don't go out there. Don't blow your money. You're not making a lot of money yet. Don't participate in these things. And they ended up doing ceramics together. And apparently Manny Sanguillen was quite good at that. So anyway, Sanguillen at one point said that Clemente had taught him a second career if baseball didn't work out. But anyway, they for whatever reason Clemente loved Sanguillen. Kind of had that playful, upbeat, positive nature. I think Clemente had gone through a lot of stuff and was a little more stoic and in his approach. Even though he played the game very hard, he was sometimes kind of not the most exuberant player on the field, if you will. But they grew closer and closer. Of course, Sanguillen made the team. They played together for 6 years, and they did everything together. They were just really close friends to the point when uh, Clemente passed away in the plane crash. Sanguillen flew to Puerto Rico to the Pinones Beach coastline, and he basically stayed there for weeks on the coast. He knew that Clemente wasn't coming back, but he wanted to be there if the body came back up to shore. And for years afterwards, Sanguillen has gone back every year, at least once or twice a year, and sits at that shore and just kind of reflects on all of that. So that's some dedication and loyalty to do that for your friend after this many years. He still makes that journey every year, and since there is no gravesite, the Clemente family does the thing at the shoreline as well every year, just kind of a memory, and they throw the flowers in the ocean, and Sanguillen has never missed that. So I think that
Wow.
speaks volume to the friendship that they had, and that's an amazing duo to me.
Wow.
Yeah.
There's my serious one.
There we go. There we
Good.
go. That was a good one. That was a good
Thanks.
one.
Webby,
All right. I got a good one, and I thought Marty was going to steal it there for a second, but he didn't.
Oops.
I'm going
I'll
to
try
talk
hard.
about.
I'll try harder next time.
I'm going to talk about Mickey Mantle and Roger Maris,
Okay.
who were, according to the press, because I guess it was a good story, that they were arch enemies fighting for the 1961 home run crown. When in reality, they were roommates and did virtually everything together. They were the greatest of friends and very supportive of each other. If you remember the season, they were neck and neck in home runs, and Mantle got hurt with a few weeks to go and was rooting on Roger from his hospital bed. They hit, Barris, of course, hit 61 home runs. Mantle had 54, accounting for the record for home runs by teammates of 115. Now, one could argue that it was broken this past season, but that would be Cal Raleigh and Eugenio Suarez. But Suarez hit the bulk of his home runs with another team before joining the Mariners.
Right.
So it's considered that Mantle and Maris still had the record. Now, we all know about the movie 61,
Mhm.
which starred Thomas Jane and Barry Pepper as Mantle and Maris. But as I was researching this tonight, um, I realized there was another two movies that Mantle and Maris actually starred in. One of them I've talked about is called Safe at Home,
Right.
about the kid who lies to his friends that he knows the Yankees, and then he has to go and meet the Yankees and confess up to his friends. But there's another one that I completely forgot about, and they are acting as if they're going through that home run chase in 1961. It's Mantle and Maris starring in the film, and the manager of their team, the guy that comes out and tells them to get with it, you guys got to carry this team, is Fred Mertz.
Mertz.
William Frawley plays the manager of the Yankees, and you know the old joke. Yeah, if you're an old man, you have to decide at some point in life whether you're going to be Bum Phillips and wear your pants below
The boiler.
your waistline, or if you're going to be Fred Mertz and pull your pants up near your nipples. Well, I'm watching this film right now, the cut that's online, and Mertz is wearing a baseball uniform, and those pants are right up about here. So I got to find this movie. It's unclear what the title is, but those two were an iconic pair in the early '60s in baseball.
There you go.
Were they good actors?
They were not. Yes, that was it's very bad movie. So, which kind of makes it more fun to watch.
Yeah.
All right, hey, we completed 4 rounds, and we are going to come down the home stretch here. Again, if you want to join in and give us some of your picks, I see we have one posted there from Teddy Bear that we'll get to. Just hit the microphone at the bottom of the screen, and you've got 30 seconds to leave us your comment as the clock goes around on the screen. It's a red circle. As soon as that red circle is completed, you've lost your time. So do it as soon as you hit go. micdup has a couple of fun shows coming up, and one recently that I thought was pretty good. AJ Rovner from the Rovner Report interviewed one of his good friends from high school who was on his fall ball baseball team. This guy has moved on from baseball and has become a successful MMA fighter. And
Wow.
AJ just interviewed him. Interesting call. Apparently, this guy was undefeated as an amateur and is so far undefeated as a pro.
Wow.
I think I don't know too much about MMA, but I think it's weight based. That's how they decide who you're going to fight. And he's done quite well. So AJ had him on the show last week. And then Yankees coast to coast. And Robbie was ready. Adam and Mike are going to do their first postseason show in anticipation of the winter meetings, which come up from the 7th through the 10th of December. Again, they'll be talking about what should the Yankees do in terms of trades and free agent signings. But they've added a twist. If George was still alive, what would he do? So to take a look for that one.
I like that.
All right, let us move on to our final round. I'm going to start this round because I've got another poem. And again, I need to bring the show up in class. The name of this poem is called Baseball's Sad Lexicon. And it was originally called That Double Play Again. But now it's known as something different. But this is the poem in its entirety. These are the saddest of possible words, tinkers to evers to chance. Trio of bear cubs and fleeter than birds, Tinkers and Evers and
Chance.
Chance. Ruthlessly pricking our Gonfunlin bubble, I don't know what that is, making a giant it into a double. Words that are heavy with nothing but trouble, Tinkers to
To
Evers
Evers
to
to
Chance.
Chance.
So we are talking about the Chicago Cubs double play trio of Joe Tinker, Johnny Evers, and Frank Chance, who made their name by turning double play after double play after double play for the early 1900s Chicago Cubs. It was standard that they turned several double plays per game. They didn't make errors very often. They worked well together. And many teams said, if you hit the ball on the ground, we're going to have trouble because those guys are going to turn that double play. So, again, I have brought class to this show with my second poem of the evening.
Call
All
the
right.
stewardess. They got one of those bags.
JC, what do you got?
All right. Well, I have several to choose from, but I'm not going to go with the Dodgers because I can't. I'm going to go. I'm going to go with the Braves and Hank Aaron and Eddie Matthews. They're teammates for 12 years. They hold the record for 863 home runs for teammates amongst the major leagues in history. These guys were so feared. You couldn't pitch around one because you got the other. So it was just like somebody's going to hit it, and it's probably going to be one of those two. So Hank Aaron, Eddie Matthews, 863 home runs in that 12-year span between 1954 and 1966. Marty, what do you got?
I don't know.
What?
Who? There it is. Think about it.
Oh, no.
Why
Why didn't we see this coming?
Tomorrow.
Why not today?
Go, Webby, take it.
No. You gotta explain to the fans who might not know what you're talking about.
What do you mean it might not know?
Yeah, it's possible, I guess.
Okay, I just did it backwards. Who's on first? What's on second? I don't know what's on third. The classic Abbott and Costello, and I just did a little backwards. And thanks for my help from JC.
Glad to do it, sir.
Thank you very much. All right.
Mhm.
Oh, I guess that's me then, huh?
That's you.
All right. So, well, I'm going to play off of Johnny Evers, who was part of that poem that Rob so eloquently quoted earlier.
Eloquent?
Eloquently.
Yes.
Yes.
It was very eloquent.
Yes.
Oh.
Johnny Evers was a pretty good ball player for sure. Very much a student of the game, very scientific about his approach to the game. But in 1914, he was traded to the Boston Braves, where he and his double play partner there turned 163 double plays. And I think they played 144 games back then. So that's more than a double play a game. Far more than Tinker and Chance ever turned with Johnny Evers. They became, maybe for a single season, the greatest double play duo of all time. And his double play partner will go on. Actually, he's passed now, but he would go on and on about how much he learned about the game from Johnny Evers. I think he was in his second year in the major leagues, on his way to a Hall of Fame career. He said that Evers, with his brains, taught me more baseball than I ever dreamed about. He was psychic. He could sense where a player was going to be, and knew exactly where the ball was going to end up on every play. In Game 2 of the World Series that year, the Boston Braves were huge underdogs to the Philadelphia Athletics. They were a struggling team for a long time and kind of came out of nowhere in that year. In Game 2 of the World Series, Eddie Murphy, not the guy, but a very fast runner for
Beverly
the
Hills
Philadelphia
Cop.
A's. He was a left-handed hitter and he was super fast and had never hit into a double play that season. Came up and Evers kept looking at the shortstop and said, "Move closer to the bag." So he moved about 10 feet from the bag, and Evers said, "Move closer to the bag, move closer to the bag." And he got within 5 feet of the bag. Evers actually called timeout and moved him to practically right on the bag. At which point, Eddie Murphy hit a ground ball to Rabbit Moranville, standing at second base, who then completed the throw to first. They won Game 2, went on to sweep the series.
God, why didn't I see this coming? I could have ended the show early.
Rob, think about it. Both Marty and Robbie got you.
Yeah, they did. Yeah. Wasn't paying attention again.
But come on, 163 double plays in 144 games. That's astounding.
Is that the record?
That's the record for a single season. Yeah.
Wow.
Still today.
As far as I know, yes.
Wow, that is impressive.
Yeah. And they played every game back then, so they clearly were just racking up numbers left and right.
Yeah.
So write a poem about that, H.W. Hearn, or whatever your name is.
He probably wasn't born then, but okay. Yeah. All right.
Hey, we got a call.
Everybody?
We got a call.
We do have a call. Yeah.
Great.
Hey guys, Teddy Bear here. Hey, the couple I can think of is the Yankees had the core four actually of Jeter, Pettit, Posada, and Rivera, and the Braves had the big three of Maddox, Glavine, and Smoltz. And here recently, the Dodgers have Ohtani, Betts, and Freeman as the guys that I can think of. Hey, have a great show, fellas.
All right.
Yep. Good picks.
All good. I mean, it's not Rabbit Moranville or who.
Johnny Evers made the list twice. What are you going to do? No one's going to accuse us of recency bias.
Right, there you go.
All right. Hey, let's see. It looks like we have shows coming up on the 10th, the 17th, and then we'll have to get back to you whether or not we're going to do a show on Christmas Eve. We'll talk amongst ourselves and see if we can put something out. If not, we'll skip a week and maybe we'll do one on New Year's Eve. We've had Zoom calls on New Year's Eve, which ended badly. So why not do a show? So hey, thanks for joining us. And
if there's enough Almanac, we can do it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Thank you, Almanac. Thank you, micdup. Thanks, everyone. And appreciate those of you that listened. And we need more audience participation. We need your help to move these topics along. So please share your thoughts with us. We promise not to make that much fun of you. So, all right. Yeah, maybe.
Okay.
All right. Hey, Robbie, play us out.
Oh yeah, I got to do that, huh?
Yeah.
Whoops.
Whoops.
Almanac.
There it is.
Okay.
Highlights from Lowlifes. Highlights from Lowlifes.
Good night, everyone.
Night.